All right, so my blood pressure is down from watching Family Empire Houston, and now I'm here for the Braxtons, but not the family values, just the Braxtons. So, Mama E and Towanda and Trina are meeting up for lunch. They said they're surprised that Trina made it there because she is directionally challenged. Shout out to all my directionally challenged girls. I too struggle with directions. If it wasn't for the GPS on my side, tell me where, Lord, would I be? But, and sometimes I don't even follow that right. But anyway, Trina is there and they start talking about how the therapy session went. Trina believes that she should go by herself. And Towanda says, I think you should too, weekly. But she doesn't say it to be shady. So she says, and I believe her. I do. I believe her. And I think Trina would benefit from going weekly. Now, little Kevin does give them a call during lunch because he's had the reason why he got arrested was because of a failure to appear. Maybe he had a bench warrant out for him and he had a failure to appear in court. I was wondering if they were able to bail him out. Like, does he have to sit there until his court date or is it the weekend? Like, what's going on? But they let him know that they're there for him and, they love him. He's still out there in Maryland. So, yeah. It's a shame he's going through a divorce, when he's already got all this going on. But yeah, that's unfortunate. That part is super unfortunate. But there's some stuff going on between him and the wife, and that's got to do with the court date as well. But Tawanda, she keeping a tight lid on it. Anyway, they continue to talk about how everything went, and Tawanda thinks it went well because everything was able to come out. Like, they're starting the process of healing by being honest. And if you're not honest, you can't get anything done, which I agree with for the most part. Miss E doesn't feel like everybody is being transparent about how they feel when it comes to this grief, other than Trina. Tony has a wall up, Tamar and Towanda. All of y'all have a wall up. Towanda, I don't think she agrees with that. Mama E also says that she saw a side of them after being on this show that she didn't see before. They used to be best friends. They used to do this. They used to do that. They used to run around together, and now they don't do any of it anymore. They're arguing, they're squabbling, and she really just got to leave it up to them to fix it. But she's very disappointed that they still carry on this way after losing Tracy, because they said to her, well, Tracy said to them, don't be doing all of that arguing. When y'all get back together, don't do it. And Tracy told them that she will haunt them. Oh my gosh, I thought it was so funny. Mama E said that last episode. But Mama E, all right. Now, I was ready to box for Family Empire, and I'm ready to box for Braxtons too. Sometimes you don't realize that the real villain is you. And with that being said, I need to say a few things about Mama E that I feel like I've said before, but I'm real particular about mamas, especially older mamas. But can we talk about Mama Evelyn for a minute? Miss Evelyn is a big part of the reason why these girls carry on like they do. Now, do I believe that they were as vicious as they were now prior to being on TV? No, I don't think so. At least not in front of their mama. I believe that the pressures of social media, being on camera, other people fanning the flames of your family dynamic. See, now y'all have invited us all in, right? So we got opinions. Y'all fighting the fans. Y'all got your own fans. And the fans is gassing you up. The fans is gassing your sister up. It's a lot going on. But my problem with Mama Evelyn has always been this. Number one, she doesn't stand correction well. When Iyanla is the first person that I ever met that tried to check Mama E on how she raised them. And baby, Mama E wasn't having it. If you fuss at the girls, cool. If you fuss at the daddy, cool. You can't say nothing to Mama E. She don't think she did nothing wrong. She believed that everything she did with them girls was 100% right. And it wasn't. Second problem I have with Mama Evelyn is y'all were best friends and y'all were there for each other. You can be a sibling to somebody and not be all up in their business. These girls don't have to talk every day. They don't have to hang out with each other. They're sisters. How much closer can you be? We share blood. We share the same parents. But Mama Evelyn has always tried to force them into this dynamic of Family is everything. Your sisters are all you got. Y'all got to be there for each other. Y'all got to support each other. Y'all got to love on each other. Y'all need to be hanging out. Y'all need to be talking on the phone. Y'all need to be. And when Tony said that sometimes being in the sisterhood feels like a burden because you feel like they become before everybody, sometimes even including your own spouse, even your own kids, that's because they were raised that way. They were raised to put each other first at all times, at all costs, or else. They probably would get in trouble if they didn't do it. It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't have many friends growing up, but each other. None of that would surprise me. And it's because a dynamic has been created amongst them. And now I feel like in adulthood, they've all been working really hard to try to maintain a bond, but separate from the dynamic of the sisters. And Mama E, Lord bless her, just won't let them. The world won't let them. Nobody will let them be individuals. And one thing that people loved about Tracy is that because Tracy was on the outs all the time, because she didn't get to go on tour and do all of the things, and because her family, a lot of times, I do think they counted her out a lot of the times. Not all of them, but they did. Some of them. A lot of the time, Tracy had her own identity. Tracy had her own things going on. Tracy had a bond with her husband that was separate from her sisters. Her husband didn't like them. Everything was separate for Tracy. And I think that got on their nerves sometimes, because what was designed to keep Tracy feeling, like she was, because she often felt like an outcast, and I felt bad for her, but it could have really been for her good, because she was able to blossom as an individual in a way that the rest of them were not. Tony's still trying to do it, and Tony is a mega star many times over, and still working to be an individual from her sisters. Ain't that crazy?
So Tony meets up with her creative director and I think her manager, because they got to get ready for the show. Shout out to the B sector of YouTube. They got to get ready for the show. Coming up in Vegas. And she's going to have Cedric the Entertainer. I'm really upset that I've never seen Tony live. Like, what kind of life have I been living? And they talk about her health and how nervous she is about performing, and if she is going to be able to take breaks, and if something happens with her, can they read her cues, and do they have things built into the show, all of that, right? Later on, she ends up also having rehearsal, which Tony looks really good. She's dancing and, doing a little boom, boom, cha, cha, cha. And Towanda calls her later, and they just talk about the fact that the nephew has been released, but nobody's able to find him. They also do some flashbacks to Tony talking about her health and her heart condition. And I feel so bad for Tony. I really, really do. It seems like her being able to still do music is the only thing that kind of keeps her in this mode of like just joy and productivity. Even though Tony's always very, very calm, it seems like that is the only thing that brings her any type of peace or comfort. So I hope she's able to continue doing it. And her health is, as long as her health is feasible to do so. But basically that was really it with Tony. She's just talking about, her work and her music, her health, getting ready for the Vegas show, how excited she is about it. She told Towanda that she kind of doing a little Britney Spears and Janet Jackson. I said, girl, quit that lie. But she does look cute, but it stops there. But I just added all of Tony's part together. Let's talk about some other stuff that happened. Mama Evelyn and Tamar are doing a cooking show, and this has been a long time coming for Mama E to be doing a cooking show. I don't know if you guys remember, like season 1 or 2 of the Braxtons, it was always talked about how good of a chef Mama E was, and I think she did some y'all remember she did that competition, and her I don't know what happened, but the food fell apart, child, and she was like, it's the worst I ever made. But I've heard that Tamar is also an excellent cook. She gets it from Mama E. They've said before that Tamar is the one who spent the most time with Evelyn because she was the baby, and she's taken on a lot of Evelyn's characteristics, including knowing how to cook, but probably some of her less desirable ones too. But they did a cute little session of their show. Trina ends up coming by, which was cute as well. Trina always shows up. Trina shows up to kind of just sharing the laughs and grab a little dessert. She also shows some mixology. Now, speaking of Trina and this drinking, is Trina not in like, didn't she go to AA? And I thought when you went to AA, you never supposed to drink again. Like, you can't even drink, like, in moderation. Like, you can't have a drink because you're an addict. But somebody correct me if I'm wrong with that. Anyway, she gonna show some of her mixology classes and all this other stuff. You know what? Maybe she didn't go to AA. Maybe not, now that I'm thinking about it. Because she did start a whole bar. So anyway, after that, we just see more of more of Tamar and Mama E hanging out. And she says that while she's been in Atlanta, she's been spending a lot more time with her mom since her mom's been by herself and, Tracy has passed. So she's just kind of on assignment, being there with her mother and comforting her. But she ain't realized she might have put a little cramp in her mama's dating style, because the little park they end up going to, her mama said, "Oh, I've been out here before with a little friend or something." Mama E is a very attractive woman. It does not surprise me that she always keeps a suitor, no matter how old she gets. It dawned on me that season that she didn't marry Doc, that Mama E is one of those women, and most women are like this. They don't want to get married again. After being in a very long marriage, they cool with having a little boo thing or whatever, but marriage, they don't want to do again. And then that, I always find that to be interesting. I'll just say that. But them husbands, honey, they remarried before the ink is dry on the paperwork. But yeah, Mama E is hanging out with her, and I don't know how long Tamar is planning on being in Atlanta with Mama E, but they've just been spending a lot of time together. Happy that they're doing their cooking show finally. I'm happy for them, because they've been talking about this for a while. And it seems like they're enjoying doing the show, enjoying spending that time together, and it's really a dream come true for Mama E too. Now, when they get on the subject of therapy and where everybody is with it, Tamar says that she's just one of those people now where she has understood that she is going to have to be one of those folks that go to therapy her entire life. And Tamar, I don't think you're alone on that. I too think that I should be in therapy my entire life as well. I just haven't not started back anyway. And she says that there's nothing wrong with that. She doesn't feel like a loon. Mama E tells her she's not, but some people just need that release a little bit more than others. And I always say, like, if you can afford to get this release to a professional, and you don't always have to, because sometimes I'm happy to have my friends and my support system, but sometimes you just don't, it's certain things you just don't want to talk. It's just like easier to talk to a stranger about. And not that your therapist, eventually your therapist will no longer be a stranger, but it's just like they're not a part of your circle, and it's just easy. So yeah, I don't blame her for wanting to do that. She also says that the exciting part of her life right now is just writing her book. She's trying to decide what to call it. I think Under Construction was a good name, like Tamar Under Construction. I need to look and see if it's out already, but she's writing her book. It's like a self-help, but also telling her story. Now, she claims she's given all the opinions in the story, not just her opinion. I find that hard to believe, but you know what? She under construction. So we're going to see what the books say. Trina is back in therapy, and I'm so glad. She starts off talking about not wanting to close her eyes and these nightmares she's been having again and again. And the therapist is telling her how important it is to try to release that. Like, we can't heal it if you're holding on to it. And it seems she is doing so. She's using different coping mechanisms, but not necessarily addressing that root that the therapist wants her to. She does ask Trina, was there a time where she was in control of her emotions and her feelings and her mental? And she says that she was, because this right now, she's just kind of been, her mind has been running her. She's been having different visions and dreams, and she's scared to be in the dark. She's scared to go to sleep. So she says there was a time where she was in control. And she remembers that time. But the shift began, interestingly enough, when her husband died. That's what she called, was it Greg or Grant? What was his name? Anyway, her ex-husband, she calls him her husband. When he passed away, she felt like she was given punishment for grieving over him. And when the therapist asks by who, she actually says her now husband, whose name I just forgot that quickly. And how selfish. I was really irritated when she said that he was saying, I'm not about to sit here and watch you cry over another man. This was a man she shared a life with. This was a man they were married almost 20 years, I think. She raised children with, they were young sweethearts. Even if the person is no longer your husband or your wife or your friend or whatever, that person being gone from this earth is still going to affect you. Has her husband been married before? I thought that was so, a selfish thing to say. I really do. And you're my partner through the good and the bad, in sickness and in health. Be a better partner than that. I feel bad for Trina because I think out of all the sisters, her and Tracy have like the kindest, most giving, unselfish hearts. I really do. And so, to see her broken up like that, it was sad. And for your own husband to say that was even sadder. But, she's very good at expressing herself and how she feels about it. When she gets back with her husband, because they're packing up, girl. They on a mission to go find little Kevin. I forgot to mention, Towanda tried to get in touch with him and she hasn't been able to. So they're trying to go find him. So her and Towanda and their significant others are going to go try to find him out in Maryland. And while they're packing up, I don't know, I don't get the best vibes from the husband. He asked about her therapy session, but to me it wasn't in a caring way. It was more in a, you better not hide nothing from me way. He was just like, you're deflecting. Tell me what. And he got softer as the conversation continued. But if she comes home after her therapy session and she's to herself, let her be to her damn self. Like, this is one thing. I already told y'all I'm never living in the house with a man again. I do mark my words, okay? But one of the things that I always think about is when a person comes home and they just want to be off to themselves. And a lot of times when you with somebody, and this could be man or woman, people will take it as a slight, like, oh, you mad at me? You don't want to talk to me? No, I'm just processing something. Let me process. I live with you. I don't have to tell you every single thing that's going through my mind, do I? No. You already get so many parts of me. Let me sit in this for a minute. And I'm going to therapy because I'm not ready to talk to everybody about it. Let me therapize, please. I hope he can be a little bit more understanding of the situation with Trina. I really do. Now, in one of the last scenes, we see Towanda high stepping it out the house, baby. And Towanda looks good. I'm loving this new glow on her. She's going to pick up her kids and get prepared to go ahead and go out to Maryland. Now, I don't want to be messy, but are we playing when it comes to little Kevin? Because why did Towanda say, oh, we gonna go check on Scratchy? And the son didn't know who Scratchy was. He was like, Scratchy? Why you call him that? Then she was like, I've always called him Scratchy since he was a little boy. Why your son don't know that? I know teenagers can be absent-minded, but why he don't know that? Have you always called him Scratchy? Have y'all always been there for little Kevin? Little Kevin already had spilled the beans on that, though, when his mom died. So don't play, Don't play. Don't play is what I'm saying. We hear Towanda talk about how much she loves her kids and she loves spending time with them. They are becoming teenagers, so you try to hold on to them tight and love on them while you can, because they're gonna be adults and doing their own thing. But they come back, honey. I know I came back around. Like, I was like one of them independent teens, but y'all, I needed my mama about what's the age they kick you off the insurance? Right about then. Life got real. So what, 26? Let me talk to my mama, please. Thank you. But yeah, Towanda, she looks good. Her kids have grown so much, but I still want to know why the son didn't know the nickname was Scratchy. So when she's about to get out of the car, the producers actually approach her because she's been trying to call little Kevin. We hear her trying at one point in the car, and Kevin is giving her a call to let her know he don't got no phone. He been trying to get a hold of his phone. He knows he left it with the police, but since he left booking, since they released him, he has not had a phone. So they got to get him a phone, and she says her and Auntie Trina are coming down to check on him. Coming up to check on him. And he says, okay. And I guess we'll see then. I guess we'll see by their interactions, like, what's really been going on. I noticed Tracy's husband is definitely MIA, and I don't blame him, child. Y'all know we don't kick it like that. But it wasn't too crazy of an episode. That was really all that happened. You guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all for the next one. Bye.